A cool cannon is an important prop for a pirate haunt, and I built a new one for this year. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube of amazing cannons that people have built, and I based this on what I learned from them. It's not quite as elaborate as some of them, but it will work very well for what I have planned in my haunt. The carriage is made mostly of a couple of 2x8 boards and some scrap plywood I had hanging around. The hardest part was cutting the wheels out with a jigsaw. I was much better at it by the time I finished than I was when I started. It's all held together with brass deck screws. I painted it brown and then dusted it with black spray paint to give it a used and kind of burnt look. It's actually pretty heavy, which should keep it in place if it gets bumped by a haunt visitor, so that's a good thing. As you can see, the gun itself is made out of concrete tube forms that I picked up at Home Depot. I got two different sizes to make the variations in thickness. To hold the larger tube pieces in place, I wrapped Gorilla Tape around the smaller tube to an appropriate thickness and slipped the larger pieces over that. To fill in the edges, I used caulk like you would use around doorways and windows. The ends are just small plywood pieces I cut out and glued on. I painted it flat black and then dusted it with gold spray paint to give it kind of a dirty metallic look. The hardware is just electrical conduit hangers I spray painted gold and attached with screws. I originally planned on this to just be a static prop, but I had to at least add some puffs of smoke. Turns out there's enough room under the gun to fit a small fog machine. So at Home Depot I picked up a small length of 2-inch ABS pipe and a couple of 90-degree bend fittings to guide the fog up into the tube from underneath and then out through the front. I have a timer controller on the fog machine, so it sets off bursts every few minutes automatically. This is actually the second cannon I've built. The first one I made in 2010, and it was made mostly of cardboard. True story, it actually saved me from a pretty bad fall. I donated that cabin to the Nightmare Express haunt that Harold used to do. In 2013, I decided to do a pirate theme again, and he told me he wasn't using the cannon and I could have it back, along with some other things. Well, he had it stored in an attic space, and the only way to access it was up a pretty steep ladder. While trying to bring the gun tube down, I slipped and fell about 6 feet. But instead of breaking my back on the concrete floor, I landed on the gun carriage, which was made of 2 cardboard boxes stacked on each other. The gun carriage was completely destroyed, but the landing was soft and it didn't hurt a bit. Needless to say, if I fell on this one, it would hurt a lot, so I will definitely try to avoid that.